Greetings, I'm Bairnt, and welcome to the One-Stop Co-op Shop. We're continuing our playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. We just came back from defeating a level 2 white lion. Of course, we did lose Sturm in the process, but that's okay. We got a massive amount of resources. Now, when we did fight the white lion, there were a couple things I wasn't too sure of. That ground fighting card, yeah, we did it right. I'm going to make sure next time when we hit that ground fighting card, if we ever see it again, that we take advantage of all the resources that we left out on that board. I wasn't sure if I was able to do that because it just seemed so, it was just not... It didn't seem exactly how Kingdom Death would work. We go around and scoop all those resources. But sure enough, you can. And we need all the help we can get when we're inside this world. So we're going to continue on into the settlement phase. We're going into Lantern Year 9. This is going to be really fun. There's going to be a lot of things we can do. And if you're excited to see what our survivors do during the settlement phase, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop. So we're going to start by going ahead and setting everything up. I've done that already. Our survivals return. Now we're going to gain our endeavors. All right, this is going to be really kind of good and kind of bad at the same time. Now we have 3 returning survivors, so we gain 3 endeavors. So we got 1, 2, 3. Now we also have the Graves Principle that gives us 2 endeavors for Sturm, who died during the showdown phase. And then we have our Cooking, which gives us 1 endeavor when we return. Let's see, it's right up here. It says Cooking. Plus 1 endeavor. At the start of settlement phase, gain 1 endeavor. So that's going to be really good. We're going to gain that endeavor. We have, 6 endeavors? That's going to be awesome. I think we might do some augury. Hopefully maybe get some more kids so that our population grows a little bit more. We're kind of running low again on population. Now that we've done that, we're going to update the timeline. So we're going to go ahead and draw a settlement event card and resolve it. Trigger story and settlement events on the timeline this year. Now there are no story events this year, just the random one. So we're going to take our settlement event deck. We're going to mix it up here, give it a big old truffle shuffle, and we're going to draw a settlement event. We're going to grab this one right here. Let's see what happened this year in our settlement. We have... What's this? The Dark Dentist has returned yet again. That's actually pretty good because I don't think it actually does anything to us. A cloaked woman enters the settlement. All that can be seen beneath her hood is the sparkle of perfect teeth. She offers to improve the survivors if they are brave enough. I don't think any of us are brave enough. We can mend bones. We have to pay a lot of bone and a skull to help our shattered jaw. That's not going to happen. Look at all these bones and a large flat tooth to gain 1 permanent strength. I don't think that's going to happen. Or 2 iron. Now I do have 2 iron. I can do a metal maw. Your fist and tooth gains sharp. Ooh, that might be interesting because Riverwind has fist and tooth. Now before gaining the benefit, roll on the D10. And it looks like only the 6 through 10 will make this actually happen. So is sharp worth it? Let's find out. So sharp up here says a gear special rule, add D10 strength to each wound attempt using this gear. The D10 is not a wound roll and cannot cause critical wounds. So that would be kind of good. We get to, whenever we hit, we get the strength plus a D10 strength to see if we actually wound. And with, was it teeth, sharp tooth and nail or whatever, we can't actually gain too much strength against it except for the innate strength that the actual character has. So Riverwind, for example, does have fist and tooth, but he only has 0 strength. So when he's attacking, he only gets the actual strength that fist and tooth gives. I think this would be a really good upgrade for Riverwind. Let's see if it's going to be worth it, though, because we have to roll on the table. And it says, oh, right down here, a 6 through 10 is the only time it's going to work. Surgery fails, suffer the shattered jaw, severe injury, or 1 or 2, you die. Add a skull resource to the settlement storage event. Oh, my gosh, is that even worth it? Now, the other option I have is if we ever bring this guy along again, I could switch this out. I know he gets this extra thing, +1 accuracy and +1 strength and savage and all this with his monster claw thing, but I wonder if maybe giving him a sword and using that courage from the actual, adventure sword that we've been bringing with us, he'd get +4 strength with that encourage here, but oh, I don't know, that fist and tooth, it's so tempting to get this sharp thing for metal maw. Well, it's Kingdom Death. I think we should do it. We're going to give up our 2 metal since I don't have any use for metal right now. We're going to go ahead and give up our 2 iron to get metal jaw for Riverwind. Let's see what happens to poor Riverwind. Hopefully nothing too bad. Oh, we got a 4. Oh, it failed. The surgery fails and I suffer the shattered jaw severe injury. So we're going to go ahead and remove our 2 iron. That's terrible. Oh, that was really sad. And here we see the shattered jaw. It says, you drink your meat through a straw. You can no longer consume or be affected by events requiring you to consume. You can no longer, oh, I can't encourage people. That's kind of bad. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain 1 bleeding token. So again, since this is happening during our settlement phase, I'm not going to be gaining this bleeding token, but I can't encourage our people anymore, or also I cannot consume anything. So I've gone ahead and wrote down our shattered jaw. I also put no consume or encourage. Hopefully I remember that while we actually play the game. We also have to go ahead and click this off right here. We're in Lantern Year 9. I forgot to do that before I drew the settlement event. You're kind of supposed to do that. But look right here, Nemesis encounter Kingsman level 1. So that's going to be what's going to happen after we leave our settlement this time. Thank you, Dark Dennis. That was absolutely terrible. I'm going to put that right up here. All right, that's done. We're going to go ahead and now we have to update our death count. And yes, we do have a death. Sturm has died. I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. And on the back, I'm going to write that Sturm has died. He has died because of a femoral artery. Oh, that was too bad. His femoral artery shot blood everywhere. That was awesome. All right, he's done. I'm going to put a check mark by him next too so I can remember that he is dead, because we're actually really running out of people. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people left. So I think I'm going to need to get a couple more, because of course we have that Kingsman fight, which could be pretty deadly. I'm not actually sure. I've never seen it before. So now we're going to check our milestones. From the steps on, trigger any milestone story events when they conditions are satisfied. So now we're going to go ahead and develop. I'm going to move all my endeavors up. Now this is probably when I should have done my lingering effects, but that's okay. We would have done it anyway, and if it would have been at this step or one of these, it didn't matter. We did that. We're going to go ahead and innovate all our stuff, plus not to mention we have all these endeavors. I think one of the first things I want to do is I want to try this cooking. I have no idea what cooking does, and I think it'd be really fun to try. So we're going to go ahead and use one of our endeavors to try cooking. We're also going to use one of our endeavors to go ahead and innovate. So we're going to take our resources and grab what we need for innovating. We're going to need a bone. We also need a monster organ and a fur. Now we have a fur in our resource pile that we left here, our settlement storage, and I've actually taken all the cards for those. This is what we have in our storage. I know you're not supposed to actually have the cards. You're supposed to write it down and put the cards back. But just for the ease of the video, I've decided to take out all the cards for all the resources that we have actually put in our storage right here. And then I'll make sure to erase those off of there or put back whatever we don't use. So we also want to take a monster hide as well. So these is what we got, and this is in our storage. We have a monster hide, a monster organ, and a monster bone. We have an endeavor for our innovations, and we have an endeavor that we're going to use for cooking. So I'm going to go put those up there. Those are going to be the first 2 things we do. So let's take our innovation deck, mix it up quite a bit here, and hopefully get something really good. That's our plan. Now, of course, we get to draw 4 because we have that other innovation. We're going to take 1, 2, we're going to take 3, and we're going to take 4. Those are our 4 innovations. Let's see what we found. We have found Nightmare Training. We can train, lose 3 survival, and roll a d10. And if you do, anything but a 1 is terrible. Well, 2 to 7 I have to spend. So I need an 8 through 10 to gain either weapon proficiency or permanent strength. That's one option. Now here's another one. We have paint. This is what I've been waiting for. The settlement swells with creative energy. All survivors gain dash survival action. Look at what dash does. Once per round, spend 1 survival to gain 1 movement. Move action. And use it immediately. See details in the rule book. This is exactly, I don't even care what the other 2 are. We're taking this one. This is what we need really badly. Like whenever that lion was trying to grab one of us, when it reaches its cloud, I could dash away and I couldn't be actually grabbed. So we need to take paint. But let's just see what else we got. Scrap smelting. We saw this in the last video. I'm not going to read through that card. And drums. We also saw that in the last video. We are, no doubt about it, taking paint. Oh, no, that's not paint. That's Nightmare Training. Paint. We're taking paint. I'm putting the other ones back. We're taking paint. It doesn't give us anything, but it does give us dash. So we're going to put that up there with our innovations. That's awesome. We're going to mark that on our sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and add paint to our innovation list, and I have gone ahead and given all of our characters dash right up here. So I've X'd that box for our survival, so we can use a survival action for dash. And this is a good time to talk about this. I actually had a great question. Somebody asked me, how many survival actions can you use in a turn? Well, in a turn, you can do each of your survival actions once, only once. So you can dodge once, you could encourage once, you could surge once, and you could dash once. You could lose 4 survival in one turn, but you can't ever do 2 things once unless you have a special ability. Like a couple of our characters can dodge twice in one turn. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood how exactly your survival can work. So we're going to go ahead and move on to that cooking story event. And here's the picture for it. Look at that. That looks awesome. And here, he's cooking something right here. According to my kid, it's probably roast beast. And he's going to carve the roast beast. But that's the picture. Let's move on to what it does. Here's our story event for cooking. It says, cooking. The survivors experiment with scraps of foodstuffs. And they make roast beast. The savory discovery is palatable. Okay, I added the roast beast just for fun. It says select one cooking recipe and archive the listed resources to create a dish. This settlement phase, one survivor may consume the resulting dish and gain the benefit. Any uneaten dishes are lost. Now let's go ahead and check out what those dishes are. So here are all the dishes we can make, and I've already looked through them. We can't make a single one of them, but that's okay. Now that we've done this, we know that when we come back to our settlement, if we ever have any of these, we could go ahead and endeavor for one of these things. Now, of course, we need like nightmare ticks, so we need to find some more bugs, it looks like. We also have to find like different things from different animals. Like we have shank bones and beef steaks, so if we fight the antelope, we can get some of this. And we also get fresh acanthus for that one. We gain +1 permanent evasion if we're able to eat this, which is awesome. All these give +10 survival, which is pretty sweet. Now, of course, this one says I have cat, I have phoenix. So again, we need to fight a phoenix and looks like the cat again to maybe get the resource for this. We get +1 permanent accuracy, which is key. We missed a whole ton in that last attack or that last showdown, so we need to get some more accuracy. Now, of course, we need to find a bladder, which we have that. Lion testes, fresh acanthus. So if we can find some of these, we can get a permanent strength. Also over here is stuffed cockroach. I don't know if I would ever eat anything like that. I'm deathly afraid of bugs, so I don't think I would probably die in Kingdom Death right away. It says beefsteak, pustulates. We need to find some of that things, and we're able to gain we can remove all our disorders. But of course, like I said, all these give us +10 survival. So I'm going to write these down so that we have these available to remember what we can actually make when we come back with some of our stuff. So we've used 2 of our endeavors, and I know some people could probably say, well, why didn't you just read the cooking event before you actually use the endeavor, since you know you weren't going to do anything with it? I like to play where I don't know what things are until I actually try them. But now I know what we can make. We can go back to that cooking event without paying the endeavor unless we actually want to make the actual dish. I'm going to put these back in the box, archive these cards. Those were for our innovations. Now we still have 4 endeavors that we can do stuff with. But first, let's craft some gear. The first thing we're going to craft is going to be from the Catatarium. You guessed it. We're going to complete our White Lion gear set. So we need to make a White Lion skirt, which is just going to give us +2 defense to our waist location, and we're also going to gain this White Lion gauntlets. We're going to make these too, and it says when you pounce, gain +1 accuracy for your next attack this turn. That's going to be awesome because I need to hit more often. That adventure sword is absolutely ridiculously devastating, but you have to hit with it. So to make those, the gauntlets and the skirt, I'm going to need to use a white fur and a hide, and a white fur and a bone. So let's go ahead and take out our white furs. We got 1, 2 white furs, and then I'm sure I've got some bones. Let's see what I got here. I probably just got regular bones in here somewhere. Oh, we use this flat bone, and then I need a hide. Let's use this regular monster hide. So we've used these 4 resources. We're going to go ahead and discard them, and we have created our White Lion skirt and our White Lion gauntlets. Now the next thing I want to make is going to be from, where is it? I think it was from the stone circle. Check this out. I want to make this blood paint. I need a bladder and an organ. Paint required. We have paint finally. So I just need to grab the bladder out of here. We have it right here. And then what else did I need? I need an organ. So I'm going to find another organ over here. Here's a monster organ. We're going to go ahead and take both of these. We're going to use both of these to create paint. Check out paint. Paint is ridiculous. I can use an action to activate weapon gear to the left and right of this card. These are 2 separate attacks, cannot be used with 2-handed weapons. I can give this to Gold Moon and have her dagger on one side and her adventure sword on the other. She can just hit with both of these weapons now at the same time. That's going to be awesome. Wow, so good. So we're going to buy that as well, or sorry, create that as well. Now we have a whole bunch of other things here. We've still got an organ, 2 bones, another bone, another bone. Wow, we got a lot of stuff here. Bone, hide, and then like a wild card here. So let's see what else we can make. I think what else I want to make. I want to make another weapon. I think we want to make this other thing from the catatarium. Some options we have is we could make this claw head arrow. We could make a loin beast guitar. We already have those 2 guitars, so I think we're doing good there. We could make this king spear with the lion claw and a great cat bone. Let's see what else we could make. I think that's about all we could make. Okay, I want to look at this king spear. I think that is what we're going to make. We're going to make this lion claw and this great cat bone. It's going to be really awesome. We're going to use those 2 resources to create a king spear. Here's our king spear. It has a 2 speed, it hits on a 6+, and it has 3 strength. And look at this, it has reach 2. I may attack from 2 spaces away. I think that's going to be really good. Now, of course, that really combos well with this card. Our Screaming Code, Slam. Spend your movement to move forward in a straight line. If you move 4 spaces or more, I can knock back the monster, and it gains -1 toughness. Now, if I knock it back, I wouldn't be able to hit if I'm up close, but if I have the king spear, I would be able to do that. Now, sadly, I can't take credit for that. Somebody actually in the comments had said that these 2 work really well, and that person was absolutely right. So I'm going to go ahead and make this. I think it's going to be really cool. So I'm going to archive these 2 next. Now we have a lot of other stuff still. We still have 1 organ, and we have a lot of these hides. I've got 2 white. We got 3 hides right there. Remember I said I was going to make that leather, and I failed miserably? I think we're going to do it this time. We're going to make our leather worker, which is going to cost us 1 organ and 3 hide and 1 of our endeavors. So I'm going to spend 1 of our endeavors, 3 hides and an organ right here to create our leather worker. Now our leather worker is going to allow us to make some awesome things. We can make leather. How about that, huh? We can make leather by spending any number of hides to add any number of leather strange resources to the settlement storage. Now I still have, 1 hide left, and I have this, which I could make into a hide as well. Now let's see what I could make from the leather worker. I think I have a plan. I think I want these leather boots. Leather and hide. I'm going to need both of those in order to do it. Okay, let's look at some of these and see if that's the one I want. Here's the leather boots, and I think they're going to be really good. They get 3 defense. That's awesome. Now, if I can connect both of those green things at the end of your act, you may move 1 space. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to connect those, but the reason I want to get those is because we have 3 characters. One has a full set of rawhide gear. The other one has that full set of white lion gear. And so our 3rd person, we're still working on trying to get the rest of the screaming gear, but we're lacking the boots right now. So I think if we at least build the boots from our leather worker, we're going to make leather, and we're going to make the hide, and we're going to spend 1 endeavor to do that. We can create these leather boots for that person, so at least they have an item on each part. Now, of course, they were carrying these rawhide boots, but they only give 1, and since I don't have the whole set, I don't think it's really worth it to keep it on him or her, whoever's going to wear the set. So now that person's going to have these leather boots, the screaming skirt, the bracers, and the screaming horns. So we're going to have a good amount of stuff. Now I still have 2 bones left, but I don't think there's anything left to do with these bones. If we look at all our stuff, I don't think there is. Let's take a look. Now the other option I have is I could instead use my bonesmith. Instead of making our leather boots, which I think are going to be pretty cool. I don't know if I can link those. I don't think I can. But if I do, I decide I could use this bonesmith. And with my ammonia and my 2 leathers and my 2 bones, I could make a bone sickle and a bone pickaxe, which are going to allow us to, after hunt phase setup, place the herb gather event on any hunt space. Same with the mineral gather event and any hunt space. So I can kind of manipulate the hunt board with these. So instead of using this to make our boots, I could make 2 leather and then use my 2 bones to create these 2 things. I'd like to know what everybody thinks. Should I create the leather boots for protection, or should I go ahead and create both of these so when we move into any of our hunt phases, we can actually take advantage of these? Now, of course, we're not going to be going to a hunt phase this time because we're going to be meeting that Kingsman. So maybe the armor would be good, but after the Kingsman, I'm not going to have any resources. I don't think the thing's going to give me many. I don't actually know. I've never fought the thing. It could give me 132 hide resources. I have no idea. But I think what we're going to do is have you decide, should I get the leather boots or should I get the bone sickle and the bone pickaxe? Please let me know. Now we do have 2 endeavors left, and I think we're going to go ahead and use them both to augury. We're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and roll again on the augury table. So let's see here. Let's look at it. It says roll a d10. If I get a 1 through 3, lose a resource. From the settlement, if you do, gain +1 understanding. 4 to 7, gain a survival. And 8, I get an intimacy event. So we're going to spend these 2 endeavors. We're going to start with the first one. We're going to have Kitty do this because if she gains some understanding, that's not too bad. So she got a 7. Oh, that's almost enough. Well, she got a survival. That's awesome. And now we're going to roll it again and see what we get. We got a 10, a lantern year 10. All right, awesome. So we do get to do the intimacy story event. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to discard our last endeavor and see what our intimacy becomes. So we've seen this intimacy story event before. I'm not going to read any of it, but I am going to do this, protect the young. When rolling on the intimacy story event, roll twice and pick 1. So we're going to take 2 dice and pick one of them. Now we're going to go ahead and, we got to pick 2 different survivors. I'll take Goldmoon and Riverwind because, well, they're actually married in the books. So that was pretty cool. All right, we got an 8 and a 4. Now we always want to take the higher one, I believe. So we're going to check out what 8 is, and if it's not what I want, we'll go ahead and take 4. So it says this settlement gains +1 population and the male and female survivors share a deep bond. Gain 10 survival. Wow, that's amazing. So basically they're at max survival right now. Now, of course, it does have this little thing. Let's see what that says. It says if the settlement invaded bed, the new survivor gains +1 permanent strength. That's awesome. So we have our new survivor, Elliston. He's got +1 understanding and +1 strength, and he's a male guy. He was our new survivor, so we actually at least gained an extra population. So we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8's not too bad. Of course, if we lose the Kingsman battle, we're down to 4. So let's hope we don't do that. And that's the end of our development phase. We have no more endeavors, and we've bought all the things we're going to buy. Now we're going to go ahead and prepare our departing survivors. So remove the gear. Now the special showdown, remember last time we did a nemesis, I actually thought that was this. That's not. We're going to archive and record our resources, and then we're going to end our settlement phase. So let's select our departing survivors that are going to have to take on that Kingsman. So our first person that's going to go with us is going to be Goldmoon. Now one thing we forgot to do was after the fight, I gain a hunt XP and a weapon proficiency. So we're going to give her those. Now we're going to go ahead and look at what I've given her. She now has a complete White Lion gear set, which is going to be awesome. And I'm going to give her that blood paint so she can activate both her adventure sword and her bone dagger when she goes to attack. Now the White Lion gear set here says I get to add 1 to all hit locations. So these all became 3 defense to all these parts of her body, which is going to be awesome. Now it also says your weapons are your claws. Gain +1 speed and +2 strength when attacking with daggers or katars. So her dagger is going to get 4 speed instead of 3. Now the other option I have, which I could do, is I could give her these katars, give the blood paint and this sword to somebody else, and I have the option of attacking with my dagger to get my proficiency, and then I could bash them really good with these katars, gaining 3 speed with each of them. Since they're paired, I attack 6 times at a plus, or needing a 6+, but she has an accuracy of +1, so 5+, and I would be attacking at a 6 strength. Now, of course, this thing would give me +2 strength too, so 6, 7, 8, and she has an innate +2 strength, 9, 10. Or, of course, I could give this to somebody else as well, but the problem is nobody else can activate this extra +1 strength, so leaving her with it, I think, is probably going to be our best bet. So I need to know what you think I should do. Should I give her the beast knuckles? I'll show you the rest of the people and you can decide if that's a good idea. Or should I give her the blood paint with the adventurer's sword and just let her go to town with that? So here's Caramon. He's got this stuff right now. One of the options for him is he could be the one that grabs the blood paint and is able to attack with both the adventurer's sword and the butcher's cleaver. He does have 6 courage, so this would have a 6 strength. So that's one of our options. He could gain the blood paint and the adventurer's sword, and Kitty or Goldmoon could gain those katars. He's the only other person that can really be effective with that adventurer's sword. Now, of course, in our last battle, he was able to gain a hunt XP and a courage. And since he did, he's going to gain a milestone, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that. Now, of course, before I do, I'm going to give him his survival. Basically, everybody's leaving again with full survival because they get so many bonuses from our innovations and from our gear itself, especially Caramon. So let's go ahead and do our age event. So here's our second age event, improved reflexes. The years sharpen your reflexes. Roll on the table below. I have to roll a 2d10. So let's roll our dice and see what we get. We got a 17. So it says here 17, I gain 1 random fighting art. So we're going to take our fighting art deck, mix it up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and take a card. We're going to grab this one right here. We got Strategist fighting art. It says, during the showdown setup, after placing terrain, you may add a giant stone face or a toppled pillar terrain card to the showdown board. Record and archive. All right, so I will go ahead and write this down on Caramon's card. So I've gone ahead and wrote it down in this fighting art. I put giant stone face and toppled pillar so we know what to do when we actually get to the hunt phase, or sorry, the showdown phase. Now that's Caramon. He's ready to go. Tell me what you think. Should I give him that blood paint and the sword, or should I leave it with Gold Moon? We're going to move on to our next person. So our next survivor is Elliston. He's going to go. He's brand new. He's going to come with us. Here is his gear that he's going to take with him. He's taking over the Screaming set. He also starts with 5 survival. He gets 1 for naming him, and then he gets 4 from our innovations when he leaves the settlement. He doesn't have anything else, no brain or insanity. He does get that +1 strength. Now the other thing I have to decide is if we decided to go with those leather boots, he would take the leather boots and put them right here. So they match up with here, so he can take advantage of the end at the end of your act, you may move 1 space. Now, if we decided not to go with those and to go with the bone pick and the bone sickle, we're not going to take him with us this time because there's really no reason to, because we're going to go straight to the fight. We're going to go ahead and give him these leather boots instead, which he'll get 1 more survival. This will go to 6. I'm also going to give him the stone noses, so he'll gain an insanity and 1 more survival. He'll go to 7. So we could start with max survival if we go in with this gear setup, or he'd start with 6 if we go with this gear set. Please let me know what you think. I know I'm asking a lot of everybody to tell me kind of what to do, but in our last fight against the White Lion, I didn't exactly set up my guys for success. After all the rolls and how everything was set up, those guitars on Sturm were probably not the best bet without a little bit more strength. He wasn't actually damaging the thing. So I want some ideas as what you think would be best here. Now I'm going to give him the King Spear. We're going to see how that goes. And our last person is going to be Kitty Yara. Kitty Yara, of course, is gaining a Hunt XP, and also she hit with that bow, so she's up to 2 on her bow proficiency. So we're going to be taking Kitty Yara as well. She has 5 survival. Again, she's gaining 4 when she leaves the civilization. We don't have anything that's going to give us extra survival when we leave other than those. So now the one question with us now is, again, we're going to continue on with my questions of the day. She is going to maybe be able to gain these 2 Katars and actually get into the fight this time, because I think against this Kingsman, I'm probably going to need all hands on deck. She, of course, has the Cat Eye Circle, which is really good, but I could still surge with those Beast Knuckles, which wouldn't be too bad. Now, of course, we decided to give these to Gold Moon. My other options would be to give her either the Bone Blade, or I could give her those Bone Darts, or I could give her both. Why not? I could give her both of these things up here, and she has multiple ranged weapons. She also has a Bone Blade, which isn't too bad, or I could give her some Stone Noses. Stone Noses are pretty good. I can get an extra survival, but of course I'll gain an extra insanity, meaning she'd get 6 insanity when she gets there, but that's not the end of the world. She'd be up to 6 survival, which would probably be pretty good. So those are some of my options. I know I'm giving people, again, lots of stuff I should do. It mainly comes down to whether or not you think I should have Gold Moon keep that paint and take the sword and the dagger, or if I should have her have those Katars and the dagger and give Caramon the sword and the paint. That's really what's going to come down to decide what I put here. It's not, we don't have to pick too many things for this. It just comes down to that question right there. Now, let's go ahead and finish off our bold event. So again, we're going to improve our reflexes. Let's roll our 2 dice for Kitty Yara. She got a 19. Oh, wow. Let's see what that does. Oh, 19 is a random fighting art. It's the same thing as Caramon got. All right, we're going to go ahead and mix up our deck a little bit here. We're going to draw a random fighting art. We will draw this one right there. That'll be our random fighting art. Let's see what it happens. What did Kitty Yara learn? She learned tough. That's not too bad. He looks pretty tough. It says, when rolling on a severe injury table, unless you roll a 1, add +1 of the result. This does not include brain trauma. The result cannot exceed 10. It's okay. I mean, well, it's free. You got a free fighting art. So I'm going to go ahead and write tough on her card. So I've gone ahead and wrote tough up here. I have a +1 on severe injury. Hopefully I remember how that all works. If I forget, I can always grab the card again. And I probably spelled severe wrong, but that's okay. And it's probably good that she got this tough, and she also got this extra sense where she can do an extra dodge, because she actually has the least amount of armor. Of course, I didn't write any of the armor here. I'll do that before we go on to the fight. Now that we're done with our settlement phase, it's time to set up our showdown with the Kingsman. Here is the art for the Kingsman card. Look, it's even got our screaming gear down here. That's pretty awesome. Of course, this guy didn't really make it. He's got beheaded by this guy. Wow, hopefully that's not the foreseeable future. Now it says right here, a little synopsis, there once was a monster that was to lead its master's regal procession. First, the monster came as a herald, then its hungry masters. So fierce were the monster's masters that it never thought to protect its own back, knowing what horrors lay behind it. So here's a little bit more about him. It says the Kingsman ends its turn and gains +5 toughness until the start of the next turn. Now this is its instinct. You know how the lion had sniff? So this is only going to happen certain times. Now he does have a blind side spot and it's right behind him. Hopefully I remember to get +1 this time. Now when we go to set up our Kingsman, he's going to have 2 advanced and 10 basic cards. He's going to move 5 and look, he's got a 12 toughness. So it's good that we have a little bit more strength going into this. So and he also starts with all these things. So we're going to look at every one of those. Now also it states right here that this is our Nemesis encounter. Departing survivors do not have a hunt phase. Instead, select a Kingsman monster level. It should be 1 greater than the last Kingsman encounter and set up the showdown accordingly. Now this is the first time we've ever met this guy, so we're only going to do a level 1. And here's our showdown setup. So this is how we're going to set everything up. Our Nemesis is right there. He's going to be facing us. We're going to be down here. And look, there's going to be some stone columns around him. And here's our terrain and deployment. We have 1 stone column terrain card, which is 3 columns. We're going to place them in the green spaces, which we already talked about up there. Next, we're going to have 2 random terrain cards. We're going to set them up normally. We're going to place the Nemesis in the center, place our survivors in the blue zone, and the survivors are defending our home. We get to go first. So here is our showdown map. It's all set to go. Our Kingsman's going to go right there, but I want to show you what we got. First, of course, we had our 3 stone columns. So these are indestructible and impassable. When a survivor collides with this, they stop their movement, archive the terrain. They suffer 1 damage to a random hit location. When a monster passes over this, we just archive the terrain. They're going to be right up there. Now, we also decided to use our Strategist card to grab our stone face. It's an obstacle that blocks survivors and monsters' field of view. Interrupts ranged weapons and attacks monsters targeting it. It's impassable. Survivors cannot move through or space occupied by this terrain, but I can use an action to move onto the space occupied by the giant stone face. Ranged weapons get a +2 range and +2 accuracy while atop the stone face of this thing. It's awesome. Now survivors atop the giant stone face move normally and on it and ignore obstacles when drawing a line of sight to the monster. May always draw a line of sight to them. This has to be set up at least 5 spaces away from all board edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 away from the board edges. Our stone columns do not have to deal with the requirements of the stone columns because they're part of the actual setup for this fight. Also, we have a survivor corpse down on the bottom. It says a survivor moves through the space occupied by this terrain. They suffer brain damage equal to monster level. But I can also use an action to scavenge this and gain either an insanity, a couple insanity to raise random basic resource, an insanity, and a skull basic resource. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and put that out. It's already there. It says set up at least 6 space from all other terrain. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from that. 6 from that, and 6 from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're good with that. Next, you notice we have our tall grass. We've seen this. Now, hopefully this time I'll remember I get my +2 evasion inside the tall grass. That's going to be awesome. Now, I could, of course, hide, and I cannot be a threat. Now, we have to set this thing up 4 spaces from all other tall grass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 spaces away from that tall grass. We're good. And, of course, we brought our screaming gear, so I get my acanthus plants. We've seen these before. I have to set these up at least 6 spaces away from all other acanthus plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our board is all set up. We're going to take our Kingsman. Here's our Kingsman. He's right here. He's ready to go. Actually, he's not ready to go. I want to paint the base. I don't like the gray base. We're going to paste that. But other than that, he is all set. I built him up and we painted him up. He's got this regal red coat on, which is really cool. He's got this big axe spear thing. That thing looks awesome. And he is good to go. He's going to go right here in the middle. And now we have Gold Moon. She's the same Gold Moon we've always known. She's going to start right there. I think I'm going to start Caramon, the same Caramon we've always known. We're going to start him right next to him. Now, of course, we have our new character. He's going to go right here. Now, of course, if we decide to change up some of their items, I will go ahead and switch up some of the arms. I can, like, we decide to give this person the katars, I might just put the katar arms on her so we know she knows she has them. We're going to start Our archer is actually going to go over here next to this. I'm going to put him over here. I think that's how we're going to start. Now, I might change that up before we start if I do a little thinking and find out that after, I need to know what my first move is. I don't know what it is right now. And if I don't like where my guys are for that first move, I might change some of this up. We shall see. Now that we have everything set up, we're going to go ahead and set our Kingsman AI and hit location deck up. So here again is our Kingsman. He is going to be a level 1. He gets 10 basic and 2 advanced. But first, we're going to check out these. We're going to start with Weak Spot. Let's check out that card. I think we've seen it before when I was talking about the Beast of Sorrow. It's right here. It says that the monster has -4 toughness when you attack from the monster's blind spot. So that's awesome. We're going to put all these down over here, right over there where all our mood and trait cards go. The next thing it says he has is his King's Combat. So let's go ahead and check out what King's Combat says. King's Combat says, at the start of each monster turn, perform a basic action, then draw an AI card's number. So it's kind of like the Butcher. He gets 2 attacks, but instead of drawing 2 cards, he's going to do his basic action first. Now let's look at what his basic action is. I'm sure it's probably terrible. It's going to do a lot of bad things to us. Pick target. Oh, it's going to attack the survivor in the blind spot. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Otherwise, the closest threat, if there's none, will guard. Now, of course, we could dodge after he picks his target, or dash, to get out of the way of the attack, which isn't too bad. Full move forward towards the target. Make a separate attack against each survivor in the highlighted zone in order indicated by the arrows. Oh, are you kidding me? Make a separate, oh wow, he's going to hit these 6 squares. That's amazing. All right, he's got 3 accuracy, 3 damage, and a 3 speed. And after damage, bash and knock back 5 in the direction indicated by the arrow. So you're going to go flying that way. Wow, that's just his basic action. I don't even want to see what's in his deck. All right, so that's that's King's Combat. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at, what is this? King's Aura. We have a King's Aura card. It says, at the start of the monster turn, and whenever the hit location deck is shuffled, place 3 battle pressure hit location cards on top of the hit location deck. Okay, that's fantastic. No idea what that is. We're going to go put that over there. Next, we have Outfighting. All right, Outfighting states the Kingsman gains reach 2. Well, he got a big staff. I don't see why not. We have one spear. Our spear gets reach. Why not? Reach 2, the Kingsman can attack a target up to 2 spaces away. When the monster moves towards a target, end the monster's movement 1 space away from the target. If the monster was already adjacent to the target, it will move 1 space away. Oh, this means the Kingsman can attack on diagonals. Oh, wow. Okay, so he's never really going to be standing right next to us if he can help it. All right, those are all those. And the last thing I have is Battle Tempo. Now, there's 4 of them. There's 4 Battle Tempo cards. And they say at the bottom, Archive Battle Tempo when you have the King's Steps Secret Fighting Art. So I guess the way it's going to work is all 4 of our characters are going to get these. That's kind of what happened with the Lunacy tokens. So I think these are going to be tokens that are going to take place during the battle. So we're going to give each one of our survivors one of these Battle Tempo cards. With those taken care of, we're going to build our AI deck. So I have all our basic attacks right here. We're going to mix all these up. Wow, brand new monster we're going to fight. Here we go. All right, we're going to take 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's only a few left over we didn't use. We're going to put those right here, and I also get to take 2 advanced cards. I hope we injure him straight through these. All right, 1, 2. All right, this is, I'm really, I know I said I was nervous for that level 2 White Lion. I'm more nervous for this guy because I have absolutely no idea what this guy does. This is going to be bad news. We're going to put the AI deck right there. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our hit location deck. We're going to shuffle that up, and we're going to give it a big old cut. We're going to put that right here. Now, it did say, according to our King's Aura, we have to place 3 battle pressure cards. Well, here's the battle pressure cards right here. It says, the hit is canceled. If the survivor is adjacent to the monster, they make King's Step, whatever that means. All right, you do this thing, or this event. So I have to put all 3 there. Really, the hit is canceled. Okay, so I think if I hit him 3 times, I can just get rid of all 3 of these. Okay, so that's not too bad. But, of course, I'm not actually hitting him until you get rid of all 3 of those cards. Wow. All right, so he is done getting ready, and our showdown is ready to begin. And that's it. We made it through the settlement, and we set up our showdown for the Kingsman. Our showdown will be the next video. I'm pretty excited for that. Did you enjoy the video? I hope so. If you did, give it a like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell symbol, and you'll know when the showdown comes for the Kingsman. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would like to know what you think about what I should buy. Should I buy that pickaxe and the scythe or sickle, or should I buy those leather boots? I'd like to know what you think. Also, when equipping our characters, which way did you think would be the most efficient and best way to take this Kingsman down? Should I give her that paint, or should I give Caramon the paint? I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what we get to do to the Kingsman, or maybe what the Kingsman gets to do to us, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop.